You see this technology literally every day. It's on your credit cards, it's on the cover of your books. It's called embossing. But what if I told you that this ancient art form is being completely re-engineered down at the atomic level to build our future? Yeah, let's peel back the surface and see what's really going on. So, you think you know embossing, right? Is it just that raised lettering on a fancy invitation? The cool pattern on a leather wallet? Well, you're not wrong, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the very beginning of a much bigger and, honestly, a way more exciting story. I mean, from the feel of your credit card numbers to the logo on your favorite bag, embossing is everywhere. And it has an incredibly rich history. We've even found embossed ornaments from the Bronze Age. So yeah, it's been around for a while. But here's the twist. What if that same simple idea, just pressing a pattern onto a surface, what if that is now the secret key to unlocking some of today's most advanced, most game-changing technologies? I'm not kidding. We're talking about next-generation solar panels that are way more efficient, medical devices that are radically safer to put inside the human body, supercharged batteries, and even unfakeable anti-counterfeit tech. And somehow, it all comes back to embossing. The real question is, how? Okay, so the secret isn't in what we're doing, it's the scale at which we're doing it. The real revolution starts when we take the old art of embossing and shrink it down, way, way down to the microscopic level. Welcome to the wild world of micro and nano embossing. The best way to think about it is like a waffle iron, but for molecules. Seriously, instead of pouring in batter, scientists are pressing a microscopic mold onto a material to create a pattern so incredibly tiny it literally changes how that material behaves. This isn't just decoration anymore, it's a complete re-engineering of the surface itself. So just how small are we talking? Well, researchers have successfully used these techniques to create tiny little channels that are just 188 nanometers wide. Now, to put that number in perspective, a single human hair is about 80,000 nanometers wide. You could line up over 400 of these embossed channels side by side across the width of one strand of hair. That is the mind-boggling level of precision we are now working with. So, we can make these unbelievably tiny patterns. That's amazing. But here's the next big question. What can we make them on? Because this isn't just for soft stuff anymore. Not even close. Forget about paper and soft plastics. The real breakthrough, the quantum leap here, is that we're now applying these techniques to some of the toughest materials out there. We can now resculpt the very surface of things like solid metal and glass. Let's just take glass, for example. With a process called hot embossing, it's pretty straightforward. You just heat the glass until it starts to soften up. Then you press it with an incredibly durable nanoscale mold, you let it cool down, you release it, and bam! The result? A perfectly pristine glass surface that has this new nanostructure, ready to go into some high-tech optics or advanced medical gear. And it is not just glass. Scientists are mastering this for all kinds of things. High-strength sheet metals to make them tougher, aluminum for new optical parts, and even advanced ceramics like tungsten carbide, which is one of the hardest materials known to man. Okay, this is all incredible science. But let's get to the point. Why does any of this matter to you? What can these nanostructures actually do? Well, as it turns out, by just changing the texture of a surface at this tiny scale, you can give it some pretty surprising and very useful everyday superpowers. So let's look at the actual research. Scientists created a surface with what they call a moth-eye texture, basically a tiny grid of pillars, and they tested how water acted on it. The water contact angle, which is just how much a droplet beads up, it jumped from about 63 degrees all the way up to 143 degrees. That is a massive change. So what does that give you? It gives the material the superpower of being super hydrophobic, which is just a fancy way of saying it aggressively repels water. This means you can create surfaces that are self-cleaning because water just beads up and rolls right off, taking dirt with it. It also leads to powerful anti-icing and anti-fogging coatings for, everything from airplane wings to camera lenses. Okay, here's another superpower for you. A plain, smooth surface reflects a lot of light. This one study found that a plastic sheet reflected about 24% of the light that hit it. But look what happens after they embossed it with a microtexture. Whoa, the reflectivity just plummeted, down to 6%. What this superpower does is it basically makes things nearly invisible to light.
And by trapping light instead of reflecting it, solar panels become way more efficient because more of that energy gets absorbed. It also improves optical sensors, LEDs, really any tech where capturing every single photon counts. Now, for what might be the most important superpower of all, let's look at this number, 0. In the world of medicine, 0 can be the most beautiful, life-saving number you will ever see. But what does it mean? 0. That is the average score for blood clot formation on a medical balloon that was treated with this microembossing. See, when you put a device inside a human artery, the biggest risk is that it will cause a dangerous clot. But by creating a specific nanostructure on the surface, researchers made it thrombo-resistant, meaning the body doesn't react to it. It makes it radically safer for patients. So, where does all of this go from here? The journey from an ancient craft to modern nanoscale science is already pretty staggering. But now, the process of embossing itself is getting a huge, intelligent upgrade. Yeah, this technology is not standing still. Researchers are integrating entirely new forces and actual intelligence into the process, pushing the boundaries of what's possible and making it more precise, more efficient, and more powerful than ever before. We're now combining forces to perfect it. By adding ultrasonic vibrations, we can make materials flow into the tiniest mold features with flawless precision. By using powerful electromagnetic fields, we can shape tough metals without even touching them. And with AI and digital twins, we can create virtual models to monitor the whole thing in real time, optimizing every last variable for a perfect result, every single time. So, we've gone from simple patterns on bronze ornaments to re-engineering the very fabric of our material world. This ancient art, now operating at the nanoscale, is giving our technology superpowers that we're only just beginning to understand. And that just leaves us with one question. What will we impress upon the world next? Thanks for watching.